In this video, I'm going to talk through how this program works, doing my best job to do that. So I'm going to kind of ramble on a little bit for this one. If you don't want to edit this program, I would skip this video. And I'm also going to go over how to print too, because I forgot to do that in the last video. But if you want to know how this program works, this is a video for you. So once you have your data in, your student or your athlete information page, the next part is your test setup. Now I hide these sheets on the sheet that I sent to you. In order to view these, you just click view, show hidden sheets. I have them hidden because you don't need to edit them unless you're going to do different tests and edit some things. So basically, here are the tests that you're doing. So you select the test. For instance, I have deadlift here. If you had, instance, you want to do a 40, all right, so you would select the 40 from your list here, the test that you have. You would click, I want to do a 40-yard dash, so 40. So you would add your tests, and then you would select those tests. They would then pop up here. 40 would pop up here. And then 40, a lower score is better, so I would want to click this box here. So it would be organized in order from least to greatest, with the least scores being the greatest scores there. All right, with min being better. Here, it just populates the lowest score I have for a deadlift for all my data, max score I have, 455. And then I have over here elite scores and poor scores for males and females. So this is how I get different value markers based off of your gender. So for instance, I have an elite score for the deadlift is 450 pounds. Poor score is a 45 pounds. I have the poor score set pretty low because if there's an error, so if a kid has, for instance, has a 500-pound deadlift, that's going to read an error because it's outside of this range, but I have any errors to read as great scores. So because of that, if somebody has, for instance, a 30-pound deadlift, it's going to read as an error because it's outside of this range. And then that will say they have a perfect deadlift, which is not a perfect deadlift. But that's why I set the poor score to be pretty low there for these lifts. So keep that in mind if you have a kid that has it says they have a great score for their deadlift and their deadlift is like 25 pounds, for instance. I know it's pretty complicated. But again, for this video, I'm just going to ramble on here. So here's my test, the list. So that's what you need to edit here. The only thing you'd really need to edit is if you wanted to add tests, you would just put them here in a running down fashion. Don't need to edit the names or dates or select sport list. That just self-populates. All right, but if you wanted to add a test, you would have to add that in this range here. Let's see what else. Data reference. This is just the back workings for the graphs, where they're getting the information from. And this is the rating scale for whether it's good, great, average, below average scores. Feel free to look at this and edit this, but it's confusing. Best of luck to you if you wanted to. Leaderboard. So this is just another attached feature on here that shows the leaderboard for these lifts. The only drawback that I haven't figured out a solution for yet is if you have a student, so say for instance, all right, Caden Lewis, and I have the best back squat, and I've had the best back squat for the past 6 times we tested, I'm going to have my name up there for 6 times in a row, 1 through 6. I don't know how to make it so my name or whoever's name only pops up once on the leaderboard. So this it's going to be in the scores for whomever in order, regardless of whether it's your name over and over and over. For instance, see, I'm here twice for this one. And then dashboard printing, because I got to go over that in the last video. How you want to do that, once you've selected the student, I just close this part out here, click this little minus, and then print. I have the margins set up how I like them. So if the margins are jacked up there, you're going to have to edit those. But once you edit them, it should come out pretty nice. And then I just print front to back. Let's see, what else can I talk about here? Again, so for these, it'll show percentile rank for the scores, and that will go off of the student's gender. So I think it's important to have the gender for the student. That way, somebody that's a field hockey player who's doing a great job in the weight room doesn't have like below average or concerned scores because she's being compared to boys in the class who are much stronger. She's now being compared to other female scores for what's a good or a bad score, and that'll give her a more accurate assessment for where she's at. Same thing with boys. Having that gender in there is important for that percentile rank, and then comparing scores for their gender here on that dotted red line to show them where they're at based off of their gender. All right, and again, to find these hidden pages, you just click View, Show Hidden Sheets, and best of luck if you want to edit it.